Hello and welcome. Today I'll be showing you 10 piston doors that have been created by Mumbo, but I am going to redesign them in the Bedrock edition of Minecraft. So as you can see here, we start out with the basic 2x2, and they're the same design because there's not much happening here, and it doesn't require a redesign for the Bedrock edition. So those work fine there. Next design is a 3x3 spiral piston door, and this one I've made before. I just made a slight modification on the bottom here because I saw that this last piston took a while to actually retract the last block, so I just thought I'd speed it up a bit. So as you can see here, it works perfectly fine. Now compared to the one on Java Edition, it is +1 thickness. As you can see, it's only 3 across, which is pretty good compared to um, most Bedrock Edition contraptions. So the next one here is the down and around, is I believe what he called it. So if I hit this and go around, you can see I pop up right here. And it's a really nice, it's not really a piston door, but it's a really nice door design here. And I enjoyed making this one. Now this one is pretty much the same design. I had to do a few tweaks here and there, but it is the same size, as you can see here. So the next one here is a 2x2 hipster door. Now this is my design. This is actually my design number 2. I made one that was similar to this, but since it was whenever redstone was first introduced in the Bedrock edition, pistons have been speeded up after that one was made, so I decided to do a redesign and maybe shrink the size of it. So I've shrunken this design to the most that I can, and I decided to look up to see if anybody was able to make it smaller, as Mumbo did, because this one is +5 width and +1 height compared to the one uh, on Mumbo's video. So I decided to look online, and I found this design here, which is even smaller than the one showed off in Mumbo's video. Now, the reason why it's smaller than mine is because it uses a different technique. Instead of having the 3 pistons down here and then doing a few other things, it actually moves these pistons aside, which I didn't think of, and it's actually really cool. So you can see that. If you want to know who made this, search it up because I don't remember. I should have had it up here uh, just to say it, but I didn't, so I'm sorry about that. But anyways, this is actually really compact, and I really like that one. So making my design obsolete. So the next one here is a door which involves a row or 2 rows of blocks and then a row of lava on each side. Now this one I had to do a redesign because I haven't made one of these before, and it needs 3 sets of pistons instead of just 2 because sticky pistons don't spit out their blocks. So as you can see here, they both go across and it works perfectly fine, as you can see here. One problem that I did have is T flip-flops. T flip-flops are like the death of any Bedrock Edition redstone contraption, mainly due to sticky pistons don't spit out the blocks. So as you can see here, this thing isn't reliable all the time with T flip-flops. That's why I had to have this one fire first and then this one fire afterwards with a 4-tick delay, is because some reason whenever I activate them both at the same time, this one would be off and then this one would be on. I activate it again, this one would be on, this one would be off. Now, you would think all I need to do is sync them up, but every time I sync them up, they didn't work until they were unsynced. So it was really strange and odd, and it's just why I don't really always like the Bedrock Edition redstone. But anyway, that is that right there, and it works. This is +2 width and -1 height, just due to the fact that instead of using pistons to cover up the lava, I'm using dispensers. So yeah, that's that, and the next one is a laser security system here. So you can see if I try and pass through right now, that sticky piston will activate, doing whatever it is you want it to do. So if I deactivate it though, without shifting, or crouching I mean, you can pass through and it doesn't send any pulses through. Now, this one had to be a bit different design instead of the powered rails because there's no bud powering or updating or anything like that to do with the Bedrock edition. So I had to actually use pressure plates and pistons, and they're just detected by observers. Now, because this uses a more compact design but not really the most decorative design, it's -3 width because the rail system required a bit more room to work. So yeah, that is this one here. And now the next one is a retractable fence. As you can see, you can't get through on either side. And if you activate this, then you can see that the fence retracts and you get normal blocks here. Now I've actually made this one before, and it was actually 1 block wider than it is now. So I was able to actually compact it a little bit, as you can see here. So, and I don't know the size difference because in his video in Mumbo's video, he used sticky pistons on these sides to retract them, but I'm not doing that. Instead, I'm doing it this way, and it's a bit cooler, but it requires a lot more redstone, so for that reason I just haven't put anything down. So for this next one here, I'm again using T flip-flops and stuff like that, which I'll get into the quirkiness of that in a second, but as you can see here, this works, and it pulls those glass blocks aside, and you can just walk straight through like that. So yeah, that is pretty cool. It can put the glass box there. Now the problem that I've had is not actually with these droppers down here. These droppers down here worked completely fine for the most part. So these droppers up here again, and I wasn't able to do enough tick delay between them, and then it would require a lot of rework up there. So I came up with this design here to have a reliable T flip-flop. This one, however, isn't reliable. As you can see in a second, you can see both, or actually, this one just powers on whenever it's not supposed to, but that doesn't cause any problems, luckily, or else I would have had to continuously redesign and redesign until I found a system that works. But now it's supposed to activate, which this one does, and then that one does as well. And yeah, that's it for this design. It's +2 width and +2 thickness due to me not being able to spit out blocks and some unpredictability of the Bedrock edition, which I don't like. Now the next one here is a 4x4 vault door. I've made a 6x6 vault door before, but I haven't made a 4x4 vault door before, so I decided to try it out, and I tried to make it within the boundaries of the pistons, which didn't go to plan due to these top pistons needing to extend like a T flip-flop. I needed another T flip-flop up here, and I wasn't able to compact a T flip-flop up here, so there's just a T flip-flop up there, which is very hard to say. Anyways, if I unpower that, you can see it opens. Now the thing is, there's a block missing here, and there's observers here. This observer you don't actually need, but I just decided to copy it across. Now the reason why I needed those observers is to power this system, because how else would you be able to power things up throughout the sticky piston here, if not by doing this weird contraption that I thought of here. So what I do is I basically impulse the bottom piston, which causes this observer to activate this contraption here, which pulses out the bottom one, and then the bottom one gets powered, and then that sends it across to get detected by those, which then goes to the T flip-flop and then causes those pistons to go down. Okay, that was weird. It only worked one time. So yeah, you can see that that is how that works. Now, one thing that I did want to say is I was over there whenever I logged out, and then whenever I came back into the world, this piston door was completely freaking out and wasn't working. Um, Now, I don't know if the same would happen to these piston doors if I was even farther away, but just something to be aware of, because for some reason this piston didn't want to retract at all. Some redstone torches weren't working, these repeaters weren't working, and this piston was just continuously doing in a clock, but there wasn't anything powering it. So that was weird. I had to destroy the piston and then replace it, and then it stopped. Um, and yeah, it's just weird quirks with the Bedrock Edition. That's why I'm kind of moving away from the Bedrock Edition a bit, because of all this unpredictability and lack of support in the Bedrock Edition for Redstone by Mojang. So anyways, the next one here is the one and only Mumbo door here. Now what I use for this design is my one thick, I guess you would call it, piston door, and I just copied it twice because you need a black background for it. So as you can see, it is right here. I opened it up, and that works. Now, this one was also, for some reason, not working, uh, because I believe these pistons spazzed and retracted those blocks, because sometimes whenever you log into a world, pistons just start spazzing for no reason, like the one up there was doing. And also, like, all these, everything up here just stopped working. All these observers, these redstone torches, the repeaters, everything involving that up here just stopped working for some reason, as well as these comparators, and I believe that's it. So, just some weird redstone quirkiness. I don't know if it'll happen again if I log out and then go back in. I will check right now to see if anything happens. Oh, you can see some pistons spazzed out, as I said they would. But it seems to be working fine. It's most likely due to me being over there and then logging out and then coming back in, that some of the spazzing just broke some of the core behavior of Minecraft, apparently. So yeah, these are the top 10 piston doors that Mumbo showed in his video that has been recreated into the Bedrock Edition. So yeah, I believe that is it, and bye-bye.